it'll allow you to write code, whether you're writing it yourself or you're using AI to write your code. It'll track and show you all the changes, and you can go forward and back. If you program yourself into a corner, so to speak, and you need to roll back to an earlier version, or let's say you discover a serious bug that you just can't solve and you don't want to spend a lot of time, you can roll back 5 versions ago, etc. So you can go forwards and backwards, and it keeps track of all the changes all throughout. Now, today is just a demo. I'm going to record a series of videos, but this video is all about just giving you the concept, okay? So back in October of 2023, I had a friend that's still attending an online college, but he's learning programming and IT in general, information technology in general. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to come up with some quick examples using only artificial intelligence. Now it's May of 2025, so you may have heard that AI can do coding. Well, yes, but it's much easier for the people that already have a development experience. Because if you just are a novice and you're just going out there, you don't know what you don't know. You have to be careful that AI doesn't generate code that is insecure to get your website hacked or whatever. So I'm not discouraging you from doing that, but I'm just going to show you through the very first 3 examples that I gave you. AI has greatly improved even since October of 2023, but I'm just going to show you some quick examples, and then I'll show you how this fits into source control in later videos. But just wanted to introduce this. You can sign up. It used to be that GitHub, you could host unlimited public repositories, what's called a repository. I'll explain that term in future videos. But a repository is just a storage bucket, if you will. But used to be they would host unlimited public, but then charge you if you wanted to host private. Now it's owned by Microsoft. They acquired GitHub, and now it is unlimited public and private, as you see right here. So you don't have to pay for an account. There's other things you can do with a paid account, but for everything we're talking about, you can absolutely do that. And indeed, you would want to host a private repository. You don't want your proprietary code out there. And that's a point that I personally will not use AI to generate code for clients. But what I will do is I will explore concepts, whatever, that I can then apply my touch with clients. But I don't want my code out there. Even if an AI says that it won't use your code for training, I'm not going to take that chance and or have to worry about, okay, this model does, this model doesn't. I just never share proprietary code. But anyway, so one of the demos. So right here, very first example. Reload this. So now I got bored with this fairly quickly, but here we go. So, oh wow, I can drag this text. So what Ajax is, you've used it whether you realize it or not. If you go out to Google Maps or Google Suggest when you're typing in a word and it just keeps on filling in, oh, maybe they mean this, maybe they mean that, and you can actually have that. So it's going out to a database and it's pulling in more information. In the case of Google Maps, as you click and drag just extra sections, it's going out and selecting the next piece of the map. So what Ajax allows, it's just a user interface trick that it only shows the section of the screen. It doesn't refresh entirely the entire thing. So it only updates the section of the screen that it needs to. So when I was dragging that, and again, I can't even drag it back out. That didn't work. So version 1 is like, okay, I got bored with that fairly quickly. I'm just going to reload here real quick. I don't want to spend a lot of time on this one. But as an example, if I drag it around until I drop it in the box, I can drag it around and it's only updating the section of the screen as we go. So when I drop it, okay, it did not repaint the entire screen. Okay, so that's the power of Ajax. Okay, so example 2. Okay, so a little bit more complicated, a lot more complicated. It's like, okay, here we are. I don't need how long it took me to get everything perfected. But okay, so at least I can drag it, not just drop them once and be done. And then I don't call this out in the code because I'm just showing him an example of this. But if I put a check mark next to it, then what I can do is, instead of quote unquote snapping it in a certain location, then what I can do is I can drop it out, bounding the boxes here or whatever. So hopefully that's apparent what I'm doing here. So to uncheck the box, it snaps. Over here it snaps. I can drag a red box down beneath that, make that idea, and I'll show you one more example of the check mark. So if you go over here, so I can span the box and not have to worry about it. So I had that issue. I haven't touched this code forever, so sometimes it's not picking right back up. So do this, and it kind of wakes it up sometimes. Okay, all right, I'm done. Done with demo 2. Okay, now more complicated still is I had AI generate a list of samples names, and this code is version 1, and you'll see some bugs that we'll solve in future videos, but I'll show you exactly what it does. Okay, so first, it can do the last name or first name. So right now it's sorting by the last name. Okay. And all I'm doing is changing this to the first name and last name. Now again, it only, so even though the last name it didn't put the first name first, but you can see A, B, D, E. You know, it did do the sort properly. But then what? Give me a second here. I'm going to go back to last names. Okay, so now where the bug immediately becomes apparent is the following. You won't see this bug immediately, but let me show you this. So I'm going to highlight I'm going to check this box, and John Doe will move down here. Okay, so it took it out of here, but what's the bug? You do it here, it gives you the original, and then it gives you the copy that it just moves from here. So this is very first version of totally generated by ChatGPT back in October of 2023, that idea. And of course, it'll do the same thing the more names we do. So we can keep some down here, but if Brandon Wilson, it's going to be twice. Now, we'll do Brandon Wilson again to show an example. We'll put it back here. Now it does it 3 times, etc. So that's no good. But anyway, so I'll show you how that works in source control in a future video. I personally, I'll explain this. I use Git. You may have never heard of Git. You may have heard of GitHub, but Git is the source control that we'll actually be using. I actually use a different service where all my code lives, but I'll be able to show you Git. I'll just be pushing, instead of to GitHub, I'll be pushing to somewhere else. But if you're a new user, interested, or I convince you to start using source control, use GitHub. Okay, get signed up for a free account, and then you'll be able to use the same commands that I'm using to push to a different service the same way. So, see you in a future video.